Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Jiggerap, and today we're going to be talking about everything involving Fiora. Fiora's a fencer. She goes pokey pokey with her thin sword, and then people fall over and die. For runes, I like using a full AD page because Fiora's vitals scale off AD and they proc true damage. The higher AD you have, the more true damage you're dealing, and with Fiora's ultimate, I can't see why that's a bad idea. For masteries, however, I take a set of 21, 6, and 3, taking reduced damage, slow effectiveness, and picking up a little extra health in the defensive tree, and grabbing the entire movement speed boost in the utility tree. This is because Fiora's slow relies on her actually hitting her opponent, so if you lunge forward but you're too slow to actually catch your target, your slow isn't helping you very much at all. In regards to summoner spells, Flash, Ignite, and Teleport are great picks. Exhaust is extremely situational, but still has its uses to shut down high priority targets if your support Soraka picks Ignite, or to prevent champions who like to all in from killing you out the gate. Teleport's standard on most top laners, but Fiora is a duelist, so Ignite is definitely not wasted on her. If she gets fed, she can become a seriously powerful threat. For items, I like the long sword and 3 health potion start, transitioning into a Tiamat with boots and then a Ravenous Hydra. From there, I finish my boots into Boots of Lucidity, and I grab a Phage, Sheen, and then a Zeal into a Trinity Force. Then I grab Blade of the Rune King. With that Blade and Ravenous Hydra, you're able to effectively lifesteal tank plenty of foes without dying as long as you don't get hit by hard crowd control. From there, it's a pretty open build path. Do you want to get Last Whisper, Black Cleaver, Ghostblade, Zephyr? What about a Bloodthirster or an Infinity Edge because you're guaranteed crits on your E? One thing I will recommend though, is that if your opponent is stacking armor, you're definitely going to want to rush that Brutalizer. Moving on to Fiora's skills, we have her passive, a Duelist Stance. Fiora's passive makes things called Vitals appear. These Vitals, when struck, will deal bonus max health true damage in the form of 3% plus bonus damage based upon Fiora's level and AD, as well as healing her for 20 plus 5 per each level Fiora's accrued. The passive also grants her 20% bonus movement speed over 1.75 seconds, which scales by 10% for each level she has in her ultimate. Talk about complex passive. Fiora's Q, Lunge, is an untargeted dash spell that deals physical damage and procs vitals if you lunge close enough to your target. It scales higher with her bonus AD as you level up the skill. If lunge hits an enemy, its cooldown is reduced by 60%. Fiora's W, Riposte, is a self-CCing ability that negates anything from damage to slows to stuns that hit her for 3/4 of a second. After her spell is complete, she strikes forward, dealing magic damage to anyone hit by the ability. The first champion hit will also have their attack speed slowed by 50% for 1.5 seconds, and if Fiora negates at least one immobilizing effect while casting her W, she stuns her target for the duration of that ability instead. This includes anything from Rammus's Taunt to Malzahar's Nether Grasp. Fiora's E, Blade Work, resets her auto attack timer and is a 2-part spell. While granting her 50% bonus attack speed, the first auto attack while she's using the spell will slow based on her current level in the spell, but will never crit. And the second auto will always crit, but will deal reduced crit damage until it's rank 5. Fiora's R, Grand Challenge, reveals 4 vitals on her target for 8 seconds. If Fiora strikes all 4 vitals, or if she strikes at least 1 vital and kills her target, a large area of effect heal will appear where her target was killed, healing everyone within the zone for 5 seconds, scaling with her AD. If Fiora is within the zone, she will have increased movement speed. Hitting all 4 vitals is difficult, but all of the percent max health true damage you'll be dealing is insane. A fully built Fiora can easily dispatch tanks like this. As for skill order, I usually do this, swapping out Q and E at levels 1 and 2 depending on the matchup. In lane, Fiora's going to want to trade as soon as possible. Look to strike as many vitals in the beginning that you can, but don't go too deep if you can help it. In the early game, Fiora's kill potential is pretty low unless your opponent's trying to kill you in the middle of 50 minions. Wait it out for level 6 and then go all in if your opponent has half health or less. Never be afraid to harass them before level 6 however, because you still deal good damage and you can zone them or force them out of lane completely. As Fiora, it's your job to do a few things. You're a good split pusher, you're a great duelist, and your teamfight presence is very potent if you're not behind. Select which of these things you want to do and focus on. Split pushing constantly leads to the deaths of numerous players if you can pull it off correctly, but so will grouping. If your team needs you, go to them. Otherwise, I would personally opt to split push as much as you can. In the mid game, if you're not split pushing, you should be using your strengths to help your teammates take their own towers and zone enemies off of objectives. If you catch someone out of position, you can make short work of them. Transitioning into the late game, Fiora loses a bit of power on other carries, but is still one of the best tank busters in the game with her ultimate. Decide if you can kill the enemy carries. If you can't, it's your job to kill the tanks with your ultimate. It may not sound like much, but by removing the big CC threats, you're opening the gates for your team to walk straight through. Always shoot for carries if you get the chance, however, because you make short work of them without your ultimate if you can manage to reach them. Before I close, there are a few tricks that I want to mention about Fiora. If timed correctly, Fiora's W negates knockback from Dragon. Fiora can Q over multiple walls in the game, including Dragon and Baron walls if you lunge over at the correct spot. Fiora's Q also procs on hit effects. That includes Blade of the Rune King, Ravenous Hydra, Sheen, Trinity Force, anything. If you Q and you're a Vital, odds are that you'll proc that Vital. But if you Q through a champion, you won't proc a Vital if you're facing away from it. If Fiora dies while her ultimate is in progress and the champion she ulted dies after she's struck at least one Vital, the healing field will still appear. Thank you all so much for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, be sure to give it a like. But until then, good luck and have fun.